Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you and to be with you. So we can invite ourselves to be open, invite ourselves to presence, a fresh moment of being and listening. The body is breathing. There is awareness. The mystery of being. So we let go of the past. We let go of the future for now. So we can connect with something else, which is not the result of thought, which is not historical, which is not a story, an ongoing story about myself as a son, as a daughter. So we suspend the mind, which is deeply rooted in the belief that I am a personal, a separate entity, that I am born, when there is no reference to the past or the future. There is something magical beyond words. A profound silence, which is not a blank state. It is meditation. a contemplation, with no one doing anything. Because when the past is suspended, there is no me entity in presence, meaning in this timeless moment. There is a sort of holy stillness, without a me, without a personal narrative. And this holy stillness is not disturbed by the sunshine, by the breath of the body. It's not disturbed by a passing thought. Because it's not trying to hold on to anything. It's not trying to achieve anything, fix anything. Bodily sensations appear within this holy stillness. When somehow this holy stillness knows itself as reality, as creation, as peace, as freedom and love. When we refer to I, we are referring to that. It is this still presence which refers to itself, uses the word I. To refer to itself. I refer to myself as I. When I know myself without referring to anything phenomenal, and this knowingness cannot be explained, and yet this knowingness pacifies the mind. And draws the mind into the contemplation. I want to talk about feelings today. Best place to start it with our experience. When we are experiencing a negative feeling, depression, anger, jealousy, envy, what is happening? We say, I feel angry. Or we say, I feel depressed. We are familiar with this way of speaking. But what is the experience of feeling angry? Experientially, what is it? So we take a look. I am angry. So we take a look. Of course, there is a story about what made me angry. Maybe a story justifying my anger. So there is some sort of story, meaning some sort of narrative. And there is also something happening within the body, something happening within the chest, or the face, or the fists. So we experience anger or feelings as both a narrative, a storyline about me and him and her, or me and myself, the good me and the bad me. And we also experience a feeling as a bodily sensations. Sometimes it's in the gut, sometimes in the neck. What is going on? The body is very sensitive. It registers, it displays the mind. In the body, somatically. And at the mind level, the storyline is strongly believed. He or she did something wrong to me. The world is not treating me correctly. And the body, of course, immediately registers that. Maybe it's a sort of protective tendency in the body to contract, to register the danger. So it is ready or gets ready to fight, flee, or avoid. This is our experience as human beings. And we don't like to experience negative feelings. Sometimes we're unable to navigate our life with all what's happening. So we seek therapy, trying to find some way to cope and deal and still manage our life a little bit better without being overtaken by these depressions or angers or fears. And it's very helpful for many people to seek some understanding and support. There are many forms of therapies that are helpful. Various methods. But here, from the non-dual perspective, we address feelings and freedom from negative feelings as well, but from a non-dual perspective, meaning we invite ourselves, if possible, because sometimes it's not, to take a look at our narrative, if possible, to ask ourselves, what is this me who is hurt, who's been insulted, who has not been treated fairly? What is this me? Of course, it's very clear that if somebody comes to harm you with a stick, or comes to harm your family, comes to harm your body, then you respond. You flee, or you defend yourself, or you call for help. But when we're talking about fear and anger and the negative feelings, we're not talking about this sort of situation. We are talking about the world not treating me the right way, or my boss or my partner not treating me correctly. Then we ask, what is this me? Because right now, in our experience, there's just awareness, presence, listening, in a sort of an openness. We're not trying to do anything, but our experience is like that. It's just an open field of awareness. But we all know that every now and then is a me that appears, this personal self. What is it? It seems to be very important when it arises, very significant. We cannot ignore it. We seem to be very familiar with it. This me. But what is it? What is this me in the absence of a story or a narrative? relying on the past and all sorts of future projections. Often it's not possible to take a look at this question. It seems to be too complex. And that's okay. It's not a question for everybody, or it's not a question that we can take a look at all the time. Sometimes it's not possible. And yet somehow it's a relevant question. Because a lot of our behavior and a lot of our feelings are, in one way or the other, about this personal self, this me character. This me, I would say, this me storyline, which we repeat over and over. So often we refer to I, rather than referring to I as awareness, as consciousness, as presence. We refer to I as a me story. But there's a difference between a me story, memory, a me narrative. There's a difference between that and I meaning awareness, the reality which perceives right now effortlessly. It's a big difference. Because the me exists in time, but awareness, meaning I, does not exist in time. The impression of time, memory, appears in awareness. Memory of the past, of breakfast this morning, appears in awareness. Time appears in awareness. Meaning in you, you meaning you, the reality which perceives right now, the awareness which you are, which is a storyline about the body mind, about your parents, about your partner, about your children, appears in awareness, appears in you, within you, and is made out of you. We all know that feelings and negative emotions relate to the me story, me in time. Sometimes an event happens to us and it keeps revisiting us again and again and again and again. There are some therapies that invite us to forgive, to forget, to let go, so that we can experience the freedom from these thoughts and memories that appear to us that affect our body, that brings contractions and unhappiness within our body mind. When we remember an old hurt, we feel it. We experience it in our body. We experience it in our cells, and when we're experiencing this hurt in our body, it's toxic. There's a toxicity about that experience. And when there is toxicity, the body arises to protect itself, to defend itself, to safeguard itself. So there is all this activity going on in the body the alarm bell at the feeling level arises. And it is all somehow triggered not just by a memory of an old wound, an old hurt, but also the belief in this moment that I have been hurt, that I was hurt. It's the belief that I refers to somebody, a personal self, a personal character who has been hurt. So from the non-dual perspective, we invite ourselves to see in this moment that, in fact, the reality of our experience is awareness. And that the me, with all its hurt, with all its history, is a narrative arising in awareness, and we do not need to believe it, to give it power. Because reality and power belongs to awareness. The reality that you are. The body may be a male or female body, may have a history, but awareness has no history. Consciousness has no history. It is not phenomenal. It is not material. It is not made out of atoms and cells and gluons and electric fields. The world body mind may be so. But you are this invisible aware presence. So not to speak much longer about feelings, I just want to summarize that the non-dual teaching acknowledges feelings, does not deny or ignore feelings, does not oppose therapy when it's needed, but the focus on the non-dual teaching is to come to understanding about feelings. Because understanding liberates. So sometimes in the non-dual teaching, we say, we're not in the business of feeling management, but we're in the business of understanding. And this includes feelings, emotions.